Howdy, howdy, everybody, and welcome back to another video for Lord of Heroes. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Alliance raid, a little bit of a guide. I was having trouble recording and everything, so I'm doing a voice over the footage that's in the background. So we're going to see if we can get this to match up properly. So once you get into the screen and everything, you're gonna notice that you have two squads that you're able to use, and then you're gonna have uh, two spots open for your burst, and then three spots open for your backup in both of those squads. And for the burst, it says these positions use burst skills once enough spirit has been accumulated. So they're going to always prioritize their burst skills. For your backup, it says these positions use only normal attacks and skills even when burst skills are available. So that means they won't prioritize the burst skills, and this is where your extra damage and your support categories will be kind of there. And if you are ready to learn about how I approach doing the Alliance raid, make sure you smash that like button. That'll be greatly appreciated. And when you're done smashing that like button, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and turn those post notifications on. Yeah. All right, back to the video. So normally what I do for my formation is I set up a damage dealer and a healer for my burst on both teams so I can have some damage and some sustain. The reason why is I was running two damage dealers, but there are some really powerful burst skills that like the Green Charlotte and the Blue Vanessa has that not only does they heal, but they can keep your team alive decently. The only thing with the Blue Vanessa is you would need a turn bar booster like the Blue Chrome to be paired with her in order for your team to not only come back to life but get a turn before the boss gets a turn, because in this boss fight every time you attack it, its turn bar moves forward. So having heroes that reduce turn bar is not great in this fight, but having heroes that push your team's turn bar is. Normally, what I would do is I would hit the auto select, which will randomly put my team in, but I would not go into the fight. I just do it just to save myself a little time of putting everybody in position, and then I will rearrange my team comp and put some support heroes in, the ones that is at the bottom of the screen. Now you can have three of these heroes, but the regular enemies, they can't be used in the burst position. Only the heroes that you can actually use, which is your contract heroes. And since we're on the subject of them, I'm going to talk about the usage and what you should use for possibly your first team if you don't have many heroes, or your second fight when you are out of heroes. We're going to look at the heroes here that are possible to use as your support, who should be used as for burst and all that, so forth and so on. I'm going to start here with the green Lucilica because she's really great for boss damage in general. Definitely one I recommend you pick up as your second contract after Chrome. What she's going to bring here is just not only her HP scale and damage that she can use on her second skill, but her burst, which gives her a bit of self-sustain and being able to stay alive. Generally, I notice in a lot of my fights, she'd be one of the ones that will live. And since most of you are still early in progression, you might not even have heroes strong as your supports. So they might be the only ones that live and produce the most damage to the boss. Granted, you're not super high in the levels, but since this will be the beginning of the week, everything will be pretty low level, so they will still perform a little bit more, or maybe just a little less than what your teams may be performing, depending on your level of strength currently. But she's definitely one that I choose to have for the burst formation. Another one could be the green Larray. She got some decent damage output as well. She has a skill that attacks all enemies, which won't do as much as a single target skill, but she's meant to deal damage. So that's one that I would definitely choose. not so much the fire Lorraine. She's actually one of the weaker ones to have just because on her burst she has turn bar reduction, which does nothing. Fire Chrome is a decent one to have on the damage just because he's really self efficient with his skills. He can boost his own crit power and crit damage on that skill, so it just makes his burst do a lot more damage. I mean, his burst itself isn't like super unique, but he can do a bit of extra damage. Having the water chrome support is actually pretty good. You don't necessarily need him in the burst slot, but just having him to boost your team's turn bar can give you that extra edge before the boss moves again. So that's a good one to have. Blue Lumi, she has some pretty decent damage. I mean, her skills itself doesn't do much for this boss. She's more of a PvP tool, but they give her to you for the battle, so she's not one exactly that needs to be in the burst, but can be added in your team. Generally, I try to max out and get all three supports on like some of my accounts that don't have very many strong heroes on them yet, so I get three supports in both teams and kind of split my teams up so I'm able to get both fights in. So you're not using all your heroes because you need at least one hero in each squad and still have to max out like the amount of heroes that's being used. So they give you enough slots. So if you at least have two heroes, and three supports in each category, you should be fine there. You also get the Green Walther. He has higher combat power, but I mean he's not extremely strong in his own, but something that you can use. Another one that I like to put in the burst slot is the Red Aleph. She has ignore defense on her. Well, ignore defense as long as she lands a crit. I mean, they are support, so they're not going to crit all the time, but the off chance she does crit, you're going to get that extra damage. She's a really strong one to have in your burst slot. So definitely Red Aleph for the burst. You can have the green Basilica for the burst, the green Lyre for the burst, red Chrome, and possibly the blue Basilica here, since she gives you 5 stacks of extra sap. She's another one that you can use here as well. The extra sap damage will be great. Granted, she lands them. I mean, 50% chance. Extra damage is always good, but you don't necessarily have to have all of them in the burst. That's just some of the combinations of what you probably want to put in. All right, so before I wrap it up, I want to talk about the boss mechanics. It kind of alters and changes the element in the same as you level up the boss, and that's after every time the boss is defeated, it levels up, and the mechanics slightly change. But the boss have a couple of passes. I can't see them right now because it's Sunday and I'm not going to be able to read it, and then I have to read through it fast and all of that. But they have a couple of passive. When he's attacked, he's going to gain attack bar. That's what I was talking about before. He does have a point in which he will buff himself and it will stack up, which will increase the amount of damage that he's able to dish out. Also, the boss has a couple of attacks. He has an AoE attack where he'll swipe and hit everyone that's both teams. He will be able to hit, which will do a moderate amount of damage. Uh, then he has one where he will randomly select a team and he will step on that team in particular, which does a moderate amount of damage. Then he has like his ultimate skill, which he will just blast a beam and hit everybody. Generally, something will be missing by the time he's done using that attack. So that's like the basics of his skills and everything right off the top of my head. I probably have to look back and record over, and because it's hard because it changes a little bit. Like the attacks and skills are the same, but it kind of sort of change a little bit. So just make sure when you come in, you set your team up. You try to use three of the supports. Three of the supports bring one of your damage dealers, one of your healers for your first team. You probably running double healer through the game. Your damage dealer more than likely will be Helga because most of you are using her. So you have your second healer, then you'll run probably one of the support damage dealers, unless you have like maybe your green Astrid built up pretty decently, or even your light Johan, which I still would recommend using the either the green Lucilica that they provide for you or the red Aleph or something like that, so you can save those other heroes for your second fight possibly, and then bring in the 3 supports for both sides, and so you can get your 8,000 guild points once you are done. So this should wrap it up here. I'm gonna let this part play out, and we'll come back at the end where I got some more stuff to tell y'all about. Or you can just skip to the end, whatever you feel like. Just do it. Alright, so if you are looking at me now, that means you have made it to the end, skipped to the end. You're here at the end. So I'll have to say much thank you all for all the love and support that you have been showing. I do have a little bit of announcement though. Well, we're gonna be doing another $25 gift card giveaway, man, because I hate free to play. And the more people that we have P2P in this game, the better. Get that. Free to play sucks. I want you guys to be out here grinding and getting it in just like me. All right. So I will be giving that away on stream, so make sure y'all come by, farm some gil in the stream. All you have to do is just hang out with me. I mean, that's not too much to ask. You hang out, you get, I think, what is like 5 gil per 10 minutes. My tickets for my giveaways usually cost about 100, so you do the math for how much time you have to spend just to get yourself at least one ticket to be able to enter into the giveaway. Of course, people that are subscribed gets a 3 times bonus to their chances of winning. So that's a thing as well. Though, gotta give back to the people that support me the most and all of that. But I do have another giveaway that I want to do as well, because the person that won one of the last giveaways, and this is for the Apple iTunes one. I would never do another one for this in particular before. It's going to be all Google Play in the future. But for you guys that are on an Apple device, you do have a chance to get you a $25 gift card as well. Let's get this video to about 30 likes, and I'll get back to y'all on how we gonna do that one. But this is the Gamer Dude signing out. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here. Turn those post notifications on, and deuces.